Across the Horsham district, it's been an interesting start to the season and we're right into it and got big Peter Weir, who's at home at Rainbow for the bus trip this weekend. G'day Weary, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, Wayne. And yeah, with 5 to 10 mil falling last night over the district, the farmers are happy, and it'll be a great chance for them to park up and know their crops are growing and come and watch some footy this weekend.
Yeah, around that 5 to 10, just enough to keep the ones that come up out of the ground going and get some up out of the ground for a lot that have been dry sown.
Yeah, definitely. We're in both parks there, Flowman. We've got some stuff that the rain will do great to kick it along, and then other stuff that's been sown dry, as you mentioned, that desperately needed this rain just to germinate.
Good stuff. I'll tell you what, you had plenty of germination going on over there at the Kaniva Ore, and the Kaniva Recreation Reserve was pumping with the Jeparit Rainbow visitors. 2018, 138 over Kaniva Ore, 9.963. Magnificent win, Weary. And tell me that this fellow who was probably not fit enough kicked 5 goals.
Yeah, it's good to get on into a few goals, Flowman, but the home side really kept us at bay there for the first half, and it took until the second half for us to find our feet around the ball and win a bit more of that contested ball in close, Flowman. And once we did settle into the game, we proved too good. But yeah, it was a great contest over there, especially in the first half.
Let's go to the other matches between the clubs and in round 6 reserves grade. They killed you 18-17 to 1-1. A bit of work to do for the Storm in the reserves. Yeah,
it was great for Xavier Evans coming up from the juniors to kick our only goal there, Flowman. But BJ Hawker seems to like playing against us, and he kicked 9 goals for Kaniva in a big performance from him.
And into the 17s, they had your measure. It was a very, very good performance, 10-12-72 to 7-5-47. You weren't far away in this age bracket.
No, a great game of high-scoring under-17s footy, Flowman. It was great to see Cooper Stasnowski, who's recovered from a bit of a head knock, back in the best players for the Jeparit Rainbow Storm.
And they're 7th on the ladder and you're 9th, so it was a good match of football and great to have those even contests in the under-14s, and 7-14-56 to Kaniva Ore. Your blokes kicked 1 goal, 8-14. There's a bit of talk about that. I reckon that they might have been a bit more evenly matched than what the scoreboard actually says.
Yeah, up until half-time, this game was very close. And, the top side, Kaniva, did kick away in the second half. But, a lot to take out of that game for the under-14 lads.
Well, Lenny Weir, Fletcher Kelly, Ryder Gould, Baxter Sazanowski, Evan Keller and Caleb Heinrich were amongst it there. And the only goal, Lenny took a shot and he got it. To finally, somebody put it through the big white sticks instead of hitting those points. A good effort from the kids. Lenny, looking back to senior football and in other matches that were played, it was an interesting win for the Swifts. They got over Pimpernio 14-9 to 10-9.
Yeah, game of 2 halves there, Flowman. I think Pimpernio led at half-time by about 5 goals. But, obviously the Stall senior leaders put their heads together at half-time and run away with it in the second half and overcome that deficit to run out good, strong winners at home. 11
goals to Simon Close as Harrow Balmoral kicked 33-21 to 1 goal 2. Harrow Balmoral's percentage, Peter, is 480%. And Jeparit Rainbow Storm's next with 180. This is a massive season for goal kicking for the Kangaroos.
Yeah, they've had a terrific start. I think it was mentioned during the week they have played a few of the lesser teams, Flowman, but I'd still be pretty worried if you're in the top 4 and you're playing against a Harrow team. They're a pretty formidable outfit, and Simon Close always gets on the end of the field up front and kicks the ball well and would have helped himself to 11 goals.
A good helping himself at Rapanyup at home, got there with 9-13 to 5-7. It was a workmanlike performance from the Premiers. The Wiedemann boys were outstarring, but it wasn't their big goal kicking here. It was just Christian de Wiedemann both with 2. So it is interesting to see that they had to struggle away. Mitch Musgrove did play, but only one Musgrove listed on their team sheet.
Yeah, I think a workmanlike performance, as you touched on, Flowman, and Rapanyup, they got the lead and were just able to hold Kalkee at bay, but obviously was a pretty close contest most of the afternoon.
All right, looking at a big win for the Narrajua Kwantong Bombers, 13-5-83 to Eden O'Bapsley, 10-10-70. Eden O'Bapsley coming back after a shocking loss at their home deck the week before to Harrow. I think that's probably a good result for them.
Yeah, pretty even game again, Flowman. I think the breeze, it was quite a blustery day on Saturday. I think the breeze would have favoured one end, and Narrabri Quantong were obviously just able to capitalise on that a little bit more than the Edenhope team, and that was probably the difference in the game.
And Natty Mark 13.25, 103, too good for Taylor's Lake 8.755. I want to ask you, though, before we move on to the bus trip, about the girls on the netty court. They face the top side Laharum, and are they thereabouts at the moment, the Storm girls?
Oh, they definitely are. Last week they got the points through the forfeit of the Conniva team, Flowman, but that gave them a chance to rest up a few injuries and come in fresh, and they'll need to be because Laharum are traditionally a strong side and they're having another great season. But to get them at Rainbow on the home court's a great advantage, and there'll be a lot of interest over at the netball court if the game's not quite as interesting on the football field.
All righty-o. We'll wait and see whether that's the case. And apparently there's a bit of a bus trip going around. Are they going out to Albuquerque? Are they going on the brand new bridge out there, or heading up to some track that we're not even aware of?
Yeah, I'm not sure where they'll end up, man. It's quite a drive just to get to Rainbow in the first place, let alone then get on a bus once you get there and go somewhere else again. But I'm sure it'll be a bit of fun, and the social committee will make sure everyone enjoys their time on the bus.
On the buses at Rainbow. It's a good way to go on Saturday night. Having a look at the matches before us, and we'll head to senior football matches. Edenhope absolutely take on the Swifts. This is going to be an important game down at Edenhope. Swifts travelling okay, and Edenhope absolutely must win if they're to keep in touch with the top six.
Yeah, hard to tip a winner because they've both been quite inconsistent this year, Flowman. But, let's go with Edenhope at home.
Narrabri Quantong and Kalkee, this is an interesting one. At the Keys, and the Keys just starting to find a little bit of consistency. I think the Bombers win.
Yeah, Kalkee will want to get themselves up off the bottom of the ladder there, Flowman. And, at home they're always hard to beat. I think the Bombers probably would start favourites on paper this season, but, you got to go with Kalkee at home.
Match of the round, replay of last year's grand final. Rupp head to Harrow to take on the Kangaroos. It's a tough ask for the Panthers. I've gone for the Roos.
Yeah, I think this one's another great game. There's a lot of even contests across the league this weekend, Flowman, and Rapaniat were a bit slow early in the season, but they've found their form and they'll need it against Harrow, and a lot of eyes will turn to this game to see what the result is, but Harrow at home would be too good, you'd expect.
Pip and I take on Nadimak and good old rivals competition here. I just think that the Tigers might be able to get over and beat the Sheep Paddocks.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pimpino's time's come. They've been close in games, have won quarters, have won halves, and I think this weekend they'll find themselves on the winner's sheet and have a win over at Natty Muck.
And these boys from the Cougars, they'll bounce back from the loss against the highly rated Jeparit Rainbow from last week. Get down there to Taylor's Lake on a long road trip. I think the Dock Lake will return from there, the Conniva Cougars winners.
Yeah, Conniva's had a couple of tough weeks facing Harrow, and then last week against the Jeparit Rainbow boys, and they'll look to bounce back and get back to that winning way, which they did start the season off with a few wins, and I think they'll be too good for Taylor's Lake.
Oh, I tell you what, the ground staff at the Rainbow Oval were very thankful for $5.5 million last night. Just soften it up a little bit. She's getting a bit hard out there, Peter.
Yeah, definitely. The boys will be happy, especially the ones over 30, Flowman. There's a bit of softness in the ground now, but the oval is in great condition, and we'll welcome the Laharum team up. And as we know, against Taylor's Lake and Conniva, when we have bad halves and quarters, no matter what the opposition, they can score against us. So we'll have to still play our best footy against Laharum. And they've had a change of coach. I think Glenn Doyle stepped away from it, Flowman. So there's usually a bit of a spark in a team after a coaching change. So look for a spirited Laharum outfit to take the field. But I think as the day goes on, Jeparit Rainbow boys will be too good.
Now, I reckon your reserves, being at home and a few more blokes available, particularly for the bus trip, I'd suggest that the Jeparit Rainbows boys in the reserves can beat Laharum.
Yeah, they're still flat after that draw, Flowman, against Taylor's Lake a couple of weeks ago, so they'll be trying to avoid another draw, and I think they might just be too good for Laharum.
Oh, gee, it's got to be good in the 17s too, because your lads come up against a side that is in 5th place. Your blokes are in 9th, but last week against Conniva, they weren't too bad, so I reckon this could be a chance for your boys at home to really show what they've got in the 17-year-olds.
Yeah, it'd be great to get down early and watch the under-17s go around. It'll be an even contest as it was last week, and let's hope it's just as high scoring, Flowman, but just to Rainbow get on the right end of the result and have a win.
Now, these Storm boys in the under-14s, they come up against an 11th place Laharum. 4th place is the Storm boys, a chance to really shore it up because they are 3-3 in 4th place, in 5th place, and then everybody goes below them is all 3-3 down to 8th place, so they need to win these games and win them well for the percentage.
Yeah, you just don't. You hope the boys haven't got ahead of themselves, Flowman, because that'll probably be the only thing that could beat them this weekend is if they beat themselves. But if they keep playing the footy they have, I'm sure they can win. And like you said, shore up that position in the top 6.
All righty-o. It's a big day at Rainbow. It's rained. Everyone will be happy. There'll be a lot of blokes still on tractors finishing off, but there'll be a lot of folk too with a happy smile. And Big Peter Weir will have a happy smile too because there's a bus trip happening after the game. I look forward to hearing all about it, Peter.
No worries. Thanks very much, Wayne.